Okay, now we're getting to the fun part of the list. The worst YA ones. There's a lot. Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 worst YA movie adaptations in my opinion. Yes, as you saw in my last video, I did my top 10 best YA movie adaptations. Now it's time for the worst, which is a more difficult list to make because there is a lot of bad fucking YA movies. And just to clear it up, I'm not putting 50 Shades on this top 10 list because I know everyone's like, wait a minute, that's a YA adaptation. I don't think of the 50 Shades movies as YA movie adaptations. Those are erotic adult books and stuff because there's like sex and swearing and stuff. They're awful, trust me. They're terrible fucking movies and they're terrible fucking books, but they're not YA books. So no 50 Shades on this top 10 list. But don't worry, there's still a lot more bad YA movie adaptations on this top 10 list. So yeah, let's get to it, shall we? This is my top 10 worst YA movie adaptations in my opinion. And as always, before top 10 lists, you gotta have your honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions. My dishonorable mentions are Divergent, Cirque du Freak, The Vampire's Assistant. I Am Number 4, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, and all the Maze Runner films. Just couldn't make the top 10 list, but we did make my top 10 was my number 10. And my number 10 is The Immortal Instruments, City of Bones. I saw this movie in theaters, never saw it again. It's forgettable, it's generic, it's bland, and it just had the most cliched and by-the-numbers story. And yeah, it was awful. I barely remember a thing about this film. I remember they used to call, like, humans, mundanes or something. That's all I remember, and it has that one guy in it that was in, like, one of the Twilight films. I don't remember anything about this movie. It's so generic and so forgettable, and they didn't make a sequel to it. I forget all about it, but it's bad. It's really bad. I remember when I did written reviews, I gave it, like, a 2 out of 10, so, yeah, it's bad. Coming in number 9 is Insurgent. Yes, Insurgent, the sequel to Divergent. Divergent was by no means a bad film, but it wasn't good, not at all. Insurgent is bad. Like, Shailene Woodley is phoning it in, same with Miles Teller and everyone else who's involved, and isn't this the one they brought Octavia Spencer in? Why? Just, why? Like, and Kate Winslet was in these movies. What the fuck? Yeah, Insurgent was just bland, forgettable, generic, had bad editing, bad action, bad characters, no arcs, no thrills, nothing in the slightest bit intriguing or interesting. It's just a really stupid sequel, and I don't know why they made 3 of these goddamn films. I'm glad they're not making a 4th one. I heard it's gonna be like a TV thing. I hope that doesn't go through. Coming in number 8 is Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters. Yes, the first Percy Jackson film was bad. It was not a good film. Logan Lerman's a great actor, but my god, he's not great in these films, and I just didn't like these films. They were cheesy, generic, and just, I don't know, there's nothing about it that grabs me. The comedy fell flat, the story wasn't interesting, the effects kind of laughable. Sea of Monsters is all of that times 5. Like, the effects are even worse, the characters were even more corny and more one-dimensional in this one than they were in the last one. Nothing matters. The story has, like, it's very anticlimactic, this movie. This movie's bland and generic. It borrows tropes from other fantasy films like Harry Potter and Narnia and Hunger Games. Just nothing about this movie feels fresh. And nothing about this movie is remotely entertaining, funny, or engaging. It's just a really sloppy and generic fantasy kids film, YA film, sorry. It just doesn't work. Coming number 7 is Eragon. Yes, Eragon. This was a painful sit through. Wow, was this painful. Wow, was this generic. Wow, this movie was so by the numbers. And oh my god, it was so exposition heavy. That fucking dragon doesn't know when to shut the hell up. All the dragon does in this movie is spout out exposition, and it's annoying as fuck. If that dragon just said nothing for this whole movie, this movie would probably be 10 times better. But again, the performances aren't great. Jeremy Irons is just wasted. John Malkovich is laughably, it's pretty funny. His performance is so bad, it's pretty funny. But just, this was bad because I read the book Eragon, and I actually liked the book, and this movie just is not at all loyal. The book is long, and this is like an hour and 40-minute film, and most of it's exposition. Like, this movie completely missed the mark of what the book was and what the book meant, and the story and the tone, just, it felt nothing like the novel, and it was a complete insult and a giant middle finger to anyone who liked the Eragon novel, and wow, this was a bad one, and this was a painful one. Coming in number 6 is The Giver. Yes, this is a book I did not read and I didn't care to read. A lot of people say it was really good and stuff, but I don't know. This is probably the most boring YA movie adaptation out there. This is so fucking dull and so boring. Oh, I was struggling to stay awake for this film. I didn't see this movie in theaters. I saw it months later when it came out and stuff. And it was bad. Like, Meryl Streep is not good. Jeff Bridges is so wasted. And these characters are so boring. My God. Something interesting happened. That's what I was saying through the whole time I was watching this. Something interesting, please just happen. And nothing did. Nothing interesting happened. It was boring and generic. It was shot horribly. It was ugly looking. And, it was painful. Like Eragon, it was just painful. Coming in number 5 is The Fifth Wave. Yes, I actually did a whole review of this movie a couple years ago. I'll leave a link down below. I did a whole review of it. It's not a good film. Chloe Grace Perez is terrible in this film. The writing is atrocious. The action is laughable. Some of the motivations make no sense. There's no reason for this, like, evasion stuff. The movie, like, sometimes exposition can get annoying, but when you don't explain things, it just comes off clunky, messy, and just stupid. And lazy as well. And yeah, this movie is not well directed, not well written, very poorly structuralized, doesn't have good performances. Chloe Grace Perez is a good actress when she is given the right material, and this is not the right material. Yeah, I'll leave a link down below to my review. Check that out. I hated this film, and definitely one of the weaker YA movie adaptations. Coming in number 4 is Allegiant. Yes, another film I reviewed. Again, I'll leave the link down below to that review. I ranted about this movie, just how bad it was. It's Insurgent. Again, just worse though. It's got worse performances, worse storytelling, worse writing, and again, it's a waste of a Shailene Woodley and a Miles Teller and an Octavia Spencer and a Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels is in this movie. Why? It's bad, it's boring, it's friggin' bland, it's convoluted, doesn't make sense, and who even cares about these movies anymore? Coming in number 3 is the entire Twilight franchise. Yes, as for the whole franchise as a whole, these are really bad films. They're laughably bad, they are, but they are fucking terrible. And I actually read the books. I read the books written by that hack Stephanie Meyer. I read all 4. Twilight, Eclipse, New Moon, Breaking Dawn. Oh, they're bad. The movies are just as bad as the books. And I actually wanted to let you guys know, comment down below if you guys want me to rank all the Twilight films. Like, I thought it would be a funny, like, joke video. I rank all the Twilight films from bad to worse, from shitty to even shittier. Like, I thought that would be a hilarious ranking, but if you guys don't want to see that, I won't do it. But yeah, comment down below, let me know if you guys want me to do that ranking for all the Twilight films, because I think that would be pretty funny. So yeah, if I do that ranking, I don't need to talk about them. They're all bad. Twilight's probably the most laughably bad out of all of them. Breaking Dawn Part 1 is definitely the worst and most insulting out of all the films, but they're all stupid and bad, and Robert Pattinson is a great actor, like, as we've seen last year and stuff, and he is just awful in these films, and he has zero chemistry with Kristen Stewart, and all these actors are all stale and wooden, and just, these movies have bad effects, bad acting, bad romances, and it's a horrible message for all women out there. These are just terrible films. Coming in number 2 is The Host. Yes, The Host is worse than Twilight. Andrew Niccol, yes, the Andrew Niccol, director of Gattaca, and in time directed this movie. I don't know what the fuck went wrong. Horrible, horrible, horrible. This is a travesty. This was awful, like, really fucking awful, and it had good actors, it had good director, and it was terrible. Yes, it's like this, body swapping thing, this alien put into this human girl's body and stuff, and they both like 2 different dudes and stuff, and Ugh, it's bad. Like, Saoirse Ronan is a great actress, but what the fuck was she doing in this movie? Same with Diane Kruger, she's a great actress, what the fuck were they doing? And, wow, the romances in this movie. Like, there's a scene when they're, like, literally sitting on a mountaintop, and the guy's like, I like you. And she's like, I like you too. Powerful actor. Everything about this movie was an absolute joke. I like the soundtrack. That's it. This movie sucks. And the number one worst YA movie adaptation, in my opinion, is Vampire Academy. Yeah, Vampire Academy. Never read the books, never heard of the books. Watched this movie, fucking hated every second of it. I fucking hated it. Everything about it. These characters annoyed the shit out of me. The dialogue was awful. The plot made no sense. The villains were a joke. Everything was just so fucking lazy. This movie was like a straight like Harry Potter knockoff, but with vampires and shit like that. It was made by the people who did like Mean Girls, so they tried to put the Mean Girls sort of comedy, and it fell flat. It was atrocious. The comedy was awful. These characters, these two lead girls are supposed to have like this connection with each other. You feel no connection with them whatsoever. I think Lily Collins is the main character. She is shitty in this movie. She's decent in other films, but my god, she is awful in this film. Everything about this movie is an utter travesty. I remember when I first saw this film and I ranted the shit about this movie. I fucking hated every second of it. And some people said, oh, this movie's not that bad. It is that bad. It is awful. And it's the worst YA movie adaptation I've ever seen. So yeah, that's my top 10 worst YA movie adaptations in my opinion. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this top 10 list? If not, give me your guys' top 10 least favorite or worst YA movie adaptations in your guys' opinion. Comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.